Hey everybody, sorry if you hear a whirring sound, it's just my fan. It's so hot in here, so I'm trying to cool down. Anyway, today is my finally long-awaited review of Zoey 102. So the plot of this movie is many years after the events of Zoey 101. Zoey is a struggling TV producer for a reality show called Love Fully Charged. And during one day of filming, she actually gets invited to Logan and Quinn's wedding because they're getting married, and she's asked to be the maid of honor. And Zoey also lies about having a boyfriend because she reunites with all her friends, especially like Logan and Quinn, obviously, and also Chase and Michael and everybody else. And because they all have successful big lives and relationships, but Zoey doesn't. So she lies about having a boyfriend so she hires an actor and poses him as a guy named Hugo Hemsworth. So then they kind of go around the wedding and trying to act out their relationship and fake the whole thing before everyone finds out, while simultaneously filming a finale for the show Love Fully Charged. I actually liked this movie. I know lots of people thought it was really underwhelming and really bad and not worth the wait, but I thought it was pretty good. And before I should talk too much, I should probably give my thoughts on the show Zoey 101. I like it. I coincidentally watched the show earlier this year, and this movie was announced right when I was in the middle of it, so that was pretty convenient. And yeah, I actually thought for a follow-up, it was worth all the years of waiting. It was a good reunion movie. I like how, unlike a lot of revivals or continuations of stuff, it didn't rely that much on nostalgia. Because other than maybe like a few callbacks to like certain characters, or heck, there's even one moment where in the movie where they actually go back to PCA, despite the fact that in the movie it's run down. They just go back for old time's sake. But they don't rely too much on nostalgia here. So you can definitely watch this movie without really knowing anything about the show. I mean, it would help if to know the characters more and to understand why everybody is friends with each other. So it's a good as a little sequel to the series, so it definitely would help. You don't have to watch the show first, but the movie is definitely better if you have seen the show. And it was nice seeing everybody back. Well, mostly everyone came back. Victoria Justice didn't return. Yes, some other people didn't return, but mostly everyone comes back. Jamie Lynn Spears, Sean Flynn, everybody else. They all work great. I think they all kind of have the same friendship, as I said, that they do have. They feel like a group of friends that just grew up, despite the fact that they haven't seen each other in a long time. And it is a rom-com. As you all know, I'm not really the biggest rom-com person, and yeah, that is kind of one of the flaws of the movie. It really is nothing original. I mean, the whole thing is Zoey hires an actor to pretend to be Australian, and they get asked about their relationship and such, and they have to sort everything out before all hell breaks loose. It's basically The Proposal. This is pretty much just a Nickelodeon version of The Proposal when you really think about it, but it was still good, seeing everyone back. Everyone's still likable, and it's really interesting because the show ended many, many years ago, so you never would have thought a movie like this would come out, and it's fun. It's great. It really has that strong emotional connection if you've actually seen the show. It's so good seeing everyone back, and even though they have their own personal lives now that they're adults, they still are really good friends when they still meet each other, and they're still supportive of one another, and that's really how a reunion movie should work. It shouldn't just rely on nostalgia all the time, and it should make the characters still have their good chemistry together, but at the same time have a little bit of a change in their character. So that's really what makes this movie work. And this isn't, despite being a Nickelodeon movie, this movie isn't for kids. It's more so for people who grew up with Zoey 101. Like, I mean, like, okay, I guess it's not extremely mature, but this isn't really like a movie that you would expect a kid to be interested in. This is more for people who grew up with Zoey 101 rather than, kids who want to be introduced to the show. Because if you have like kids, I just recommend just putting on the show for them and maybe like when they're like teenagers or something I go watch. So I liked that. As an older Nickelodeon fan, I actually really liked that they tried to make a movie for their older fans, kind of like Fun Size. So and I hope they kind of do more of that. In fact, I don't know, we're getting Good Burger 2 soon, so maybe that's what that's going to be like. I'm not sure. Maybe it won't, but hey, it was still an interesting project for them, and I really got to appreciate that they took all the time to make a movie like this. A whole reunion movie with most of the cast back that's really a worthy follow up to the show. So, for a movie that I don't think would have ever gotten made, I'm really glad that they went all out with it and tried to make it the best they can. And while as a movie on its own, it's pretty standard and by the numbers, it's really just a basic rom com. It's still really good. It's still good and works as a Zoey 101 follow up. So if you've seen Zoey 101, I would highly recommend watching this. I think you would really, really enjoy it, and it'll give you a really good feeling seeing all these people return. If you haven't seen the show, I mean, you can watch this movie without the show, but the thing is, I don't think if you haven't seen the show, you probably won't like this movie as much because it won't really connect with you, and it would really just feel like a basic romantic comedy, and that's really kind of what it is. But for what it's worth, I think it works in the best ways it can instead of just as a movie on its own. As a movie on its own, it's average, but as a Zoey 101 follow up, I do think it was really a really good experience. Well, experience on the TV, but yeah, if you have Paramount Plus and you've seen Zoey 101, I think this is worth checking out. It's nowhere near great, but I still think it's good. So yeah, Zoey 102, I was pretty happy with it. I thought it was a good enough follow-up for something that, you know, I never thought would ever get made, and I never thought we'd see all these people together again. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So, I'm planning on maybe seeing Blue Beetle tonight. I'm not sure if I will, but I think I might later today. So, so if I do see it, I'll share my thoughts later today. So, I'll see you in my next video. So, later.